What is up, guys? It is AJ from MMA Experts, and we are talking about the fight between Khabib Nurmagomedov and Justin Gaethje. What a performance was just turned in for Khabib. I'm in shock. I'm amazed. I mean, I'm not in shock that he won. It was devastating and disappointing news to hear him retire for me. I was very excited to see his next fight. But let's get into the actual matchup. Round one starts off, and you could tell Khabib's pressure was giving Gaethje problems. He was running a lot. He was able to avoid the takedowns in the early part of the first round, and even towards the very end, was landing some decent kicks. Granted, Khabib was not fearful of Justin Gaethje's power whatsoever. And towards the end of that first round, yes, there were some low calf kicks landed by Gaethje. Khabib got him down, and it was a Khabib round. He was pressuring. He was the bull. And I feel that Gaethje was the unsuccessful matador. He really wasn't able to do anything significant. Now, round number two ensues, and Khabib again pressuring, Gaethje ripping some low kicks. And granted, Gaethje did land a few decent punches in the fight. Khabib did as well. But Khabib did not worry about the striking of Justin Gaethje. Threw a flying knee in there. And then he gets the fight to the mat, gets on top, and he goes in the full mount. And he sets up a triangle from the mount, which is just excellent Brazilian jiu-jitsu skill. Khabib is very underrated with his submissions. And then transitions that absolute lock. And granted, in the first round also, Khabib had Gaethje in an armbar that he probably would have gotten if the time had not run out. He taps him out, or rather puts him to sleep. Justin Gaethje didn't even have an opportunity to tap out. Granted, he tried and the referee didn't see it, and the fight ends. For me here, it just showed Khabib Nurmagomedov's pressure, his wrestling ability, and his underrated striking skill is second to none. There is nobody in mixed martial arts, with that level of striking, or rather with that level of pressure, with that level of skill set. And his striking is elite level. He's underestimated on the feet, but Khabib is a very dangerous striker, and the reason he's so dangerous is because if he gets on top of you, there's nothing you can do. Justin Gaethje looked like he had never wrestled before. When they got to the mat, it was a white belt versus a black belt. That's how it looked like to me. That's how it looked like probably to all of you at home, and we saw Khabib tap him out, or rather put him to sleep with submission, triangle choke. I'm amazed. It was just a great performance by Khabib. It was a devastating win. Now Khabib retires. He said this is it. His father had passed away recently, and it was very traumatic. And as a fan, I'm very disappointed at the retirement because we'll no longer get to see that greatness. And I always wanted to see the GSP fight. But as a martial artist and somebody who can put himself in the shoes of Khabib, no longer wanting to fight without your father, without your head coach, without your inspiration for fighting. When you've made it so far, when you've gone 29-0 and you've done everything that needs to be done, and everything that probably ever will be. I don't think we'll ever see another Khabib Nurmagomedov. It was time to retire, and he said that is it. And I totally understand, and I sympathize with him, and I wish him excellent and great fortune in his life. And I really hope that he's able to stay at least in the game a bit, maybe do something with the UFC Russia. Maybe he gets involved with some fighters and keeps training them, and maybe we see him as a corner man for fighters more. Khabib is a legend, and I don't want to see him just disappear. I really hope he does stick around, at least as some type of coaching role or mentor type role, because he's one of a kind, and I think a lot of fighters could really benefit from Khabib Nurmagomedov. Now, as for Justin Gaethje, he does take a disappointing loss, but it was to the greatest fighter, in my opinion, of all time. I think there's no argument at this point, because Khabib has really not had any competitive fights. He's 29-0 with all dominations practically. Justin Gaethje, I think, wants to come back quick. He said 6 to 8 weeks, and I have a name for him, and that name is Michael Chandler. I think Michael Chandler is the guy to make that fight. I think it's violent. I think it's epic. I think that's an amazing fight. I don't think you do it for the world title, though. I think this is what you do. Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier, set that up for the world title. You do Gaethje versus Chandler, number one contender fight. Winner will get the shot at either Poirier or Conor McGregor. I think that Khabib retiring is devastating. But as far as business goes, I think it'll be back to as usual. Conor McGregor, I believe, will most likely, there's a good chance, a 70-30 at least, that he does beat Dustin Poirier once again and becomes the champion. And I think the UFC would love to have Conor as the cash cow. But here's my one worry. With Conor speaking of so much interest in boxing, do they change their minds and maybe set up Michael Chandler versus Tony Ferguson or Justin Gaethje? I'd expect Gaethje, but you never know. They may do Ferguson for the world title and then rather not have Conor fight for the belt. Personally, though, I do think they go with Conor, and here's why. Conor in a championship fight sells even more. He already sells by himself. Now with a belt around his waist, it's going to be another level. And maybe the Pacquiao fight would sell more. I know he's talked about after Poirier, he wants to fight Pacquiao, and they're potentially doing that. Amazing performance for Khabib Nurmagomedov. Justin Gaethje showed a ton of heart. He's a really excellent mixed martial artist, but Khabib is another level. He's a level above. Everybody is here, that fights Khabib, but Khabib is through the roof. He's another level of mixed martial artist. Amazing performance. I am blessed to have been able to see Khabib fight live. Truly one of the greatest fighters in all of combat sports, if not the greatest fighter in all of combat sports of all time. And we wish him great luck. Thank him for some amazing matchups, 29 amazing fights. And I'll definitely have to go back and watch his whole UFC run again. And hopefully they make a movie about him, because I think he really deserves his own documentary. This guy is one-of-a-kind greatness. And tragic end with his father to his career. But wow, what an amazing victory towards the end. But that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I'm just amazed that Khabib, he looked epic. He looked unbeatable. And I don't think anybody would have beaten him, even if he would have stuck around for another 5 years. I think Khabib is truly the greatest ever. But all right, guys, that is it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Also, guys, turn on those post notifications. And also, one more thing, social media, Instagram, Twitter, check me out, AJ DeVito Fitness, also MMA Experts on Instagram, and AJ MMA Experts over on Twitter. See you guys very soon.